Good morning. It is 9 o'clock a.m. December 20th, 2024 on a Friday. Show almost didn't happen today. A little while ago, I put a message into chat. Letting Ken Stout know that I might have an opportunity for him, because I was going to suggest that he might do a show in my absentia. Power's been off, went out somewhere between 7:30 and 8, I'm not sure. And I was getting cell phone notifications predicting or that they were expecting it to be back up around 10 a.m. So I was fixing to leave the house, go do something productive, specifically return this laptop that is not Windows capable, Windows 11 legitimately capable, that you saw on Wednesday. And then, well, here, when I put this message in, let's see, I have an opportunity for you. Let's turn on timestamps because I'm still getting the show set up and ready. 8:46, I said, I have an opportunity for you. And he responded 8:48. Before he responded, the power came on. So the fates saw that I was about to give Ken Stout the showtime. And he said, no, we can't do that. We can't give that to Ken. Power came back on at 8:59, 1 minute before showtime. OBS was just launching. That's how tightly this was timed this morning. Glad I could help, he says. Yeah. Because it's you getting the opportunity to do showtime. This jacket is just making all kinds of noise. Noisy jacket. Bad jacket. Bad jacket. Go in your corner. Behave. Oh, behave. What's the difference between a man and a computer? You only have to tell a computer to do something once. Brian DeCan, there are 1 million potential subscribers that could have watched your fill-in show. Because a man doesn't respond when you say that word, Alexa, for those who aren't watching. But she doesn't always respond to me. I've had to yell at her a few times because she doesn't respond or doesn't do what I want her to do, what I ask her to do. And I ask politely, sort of. Oh no, not Huey Lewis in the News. Ghetto Wanted, Dragging a Line by Tommy Lee James and the Shondells. I do think I have recorded that, but just haven't got it up to the point yet of producing it. Martin Hogg, I would like some Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison Blues. Oh, that's good too. I think you would look good playing country and western like Boxcar Willie. Maybe before he cut his hair. Have you seen Ken Stout's hair short? Well, actually, you may not have realized he had long hair because it was all tied up in a ponytail, a couple of feet long. You didn't rarely see it on screen. It's all gone. You could sing an intro for Doug. Hello, Alice, Ken, Martin. Steve Melchior. I'm going to try to pronounce that right. Jeff Raymond. Ken was slowed down by the heavy snowfall this morning in Indianapolis. I need to get onto some stories. So just change the wake up word to computer. Yeah, because I don't say that multiple times during the day. So this computer that we unboxed on Wednesday and discovered that it was the CPU was too old for Windows 11. What? So I called the client not long after the show and explained that to her, and we're returning it. Obviously, haven't selected another computer yet, but so I messed up on a couple accounts, or maybe I could make up more than two things that I messed up on this. I had how many times, because I had made some assumptions. And doggone it, don't make assumptions. Not a good thing to do. And I kind of did something a little bit, I don't want to say half-assed, but probably. I had done the research and selected a laptop for her once, and she didn't get around to ordering it. When she got around to ordering it, it was no longer available. So I did another one. And was it this? I'm not sure if it was the second or the third that was this one. It feels like it was the third, but I could only find evidence for two. Somehow I felt a little bit of frustration that I do the work of selecting one and she didn't pull the trigger. Well, I think she was just busy. And I had made some assumptions because I'm her mother in her 80s or 90s, late 80s, maybe early 90s, I'm not sure. I've known her for like 25 years through the aviation community. Their voices sound identical. There was an occasion where I had them on conference call while the daughter was at the mother's house, not really conference call, they were both on the phone. And I was talking to them both, and one would answer and the other one. I could not tell them apart. Well, the mother is very financially strapped, and needs to keep expenses down as much as possible. So I'm very sensitive to that. So when the daughter asked me for a computer, somehow I just transferred that onto her, and she's not that tightly budgeted. So as we were talking about returning this and getting a replacement, somehow it came up that she'd be willing to pay 2 or 3 times the amount that this computer was. So maybe it was fortuitous. Not sure that's the right word. to take another run at a computer for her. Now here's another thing. I told her, look, I'm not going to charge you for my time unboxing this and doing the initial setup for it, because this was my mistake. And I feel embarrassed about it. And she said, oh, no, that's not right. Like, she doesn't want me to not charge her for it. I'm still not going to charge her for it. But yeah, I totally misread her, and I'm embarrassed about not doing my accurate due diligence in getting to know her. I did a full interview with her, but and I think in terms of the price, I think what happened is when I told her how inexpensive these laptops are, and it's the laptop that I'm using, she said, okay, sure. I mean, why ask to spend more? So it just did not come out. Now, does she need a more capable computer? Well, maybe, because I mentioned to you on Wednesday that she does do work as an employee, and most of the work that she does is web-based applications for the business. I don't believe she's connecting. In fact, I know she's not connecting remotely to the office, because we discussed that. So we'll probably go with a higher capability computer just because she can't afford it. and because these low cost computers aren't really fully vetted. I know some people say that these N95s, N100s, you can expect 2 or 3 years out of them. I'm not convinced about that. I don't see any reason for that, any data for that. But anyway, time will tell. I'm only intending to do these N95s and N100s for the clients that are really budget conscientious and have the conversation with them. We're going to have the talk. You know, that talk that parents don't want to have with their kids. Well, that talk about the risks of using these N95, N100 computers from unknown, unproven manufacturers. All right. I'm not going to try to go through all those because I've got other stuff to get to. It's not really set up, but then this whole fixing LWTdb part of it is about not having to do so much setup. Okay, so I'm going to go here into comments. Carrie Holzman, 3 days ago, to access some Samsung recovery on your device, try typing recovery in the taskbar, search Windows 11. This should bring up the Samsung Recovery bootable USB image maker. It requires 32 gigabyte flash drive that will be formatted during this rescue media installation process. That will also include necessary drivers. Well, that won't work on the laptop that Pineapple Road is working with because he's already wiped that out. It's gone, no longer present. Pineapple Road responds down here 7 hours ago with the model of laptop in question. That tool is not available. I don't know if it's the model of laptop. It could be because there's some other information he gives us up higher on this list. With the model of laptop in question, that tool is not available. I think it's not available because he's done a fresh reinstall, which wiped out the partitions that were on the computer. But that's not so important when we get to the more recent comments from him. Carrie Holzman gave me a Wikipedia about the killer Nick. That was a story that I told about 2 episodes ago, I think. Well, it tells us here what that episode was because it was episode 24. Now that opened, oh, that was interesting. Alt-Tab went to the other tab on the browser. That should be, oh, I'm in Microsoft Edge. Oh, that's interesting. That's why this feels a little different. But yeah, I was asking, was it the killer application for the network card? But no, it is actually a killer network interface, and I have since gone into Device Manager and confirmed it shows the word killer as well. Then here we got these 3 comments. Starts out with Jim. I just got the 24H2 notice last night from my Asus laptop installed this morning. Can't wait to see what they hosed up now. And this was a comment from yesterday, and he's making reference to 14:35 minutes into this episode. And then Jim replies to Jim with an update, 4 reboots, and 30 minutes later, it's finally done. Phil Stodd to Jim, the only computer I have running 24H2 is a Dell desktop. The hard drive light is constantly flashing. I run it offline most of the time. I allow Windows to call doze, right? It's flashing all the time, so it's drowsy, so it's Windows. We're dozing now. I allow Windows to call mommy for updates occasionally. I decide to concede to its desires, and I use it to play videos from my USB drive. I have heard this from other people about the hard drive light constantly flashing with 24H2. So I'm wondering if there's an issue there. Let's see, I don't need to give timestamps to Carrie or Pineapple Road. So let's get those managed. And then all of these managed. I don't need to give them timestamps. Phil Stodd. And so this is in reference to the customer of this laptop. He says, it would behoove you to explain to your customer they would be better served with a slightly better computer. I'm not a big fan of that kind of reasoning, to just say, hey, it would be better for you to get a better computer. Why? Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. It depends. If a person is financially strapped and that causes them stress, does it really benefit them? A lot of end users that are just doing email and web stuff and Microsoft Word documents, I disagree. I don't think you can just say they would be better served to have a slightly better computer without a reason behind it. There are reasons. There can be reasons, but that phrase alone is not enough for me. Even my work laptop bought in 2019 is Windows 11 2042 compliant. Sure. I will not concede to becoming a smartphone zombie. Agreed. As long as dumb phones are available, I'm in. Even though the net, he's got a flip phone. As for flip phone, yeah, that's why he's still holding on to flip phone. I am addicted to the apps. I could not go back to a flip phone. I'm in, even though the text is almost unreadable without an eye loop. Let's see, something else that I haven't said here about that computer. Yeah. Let's get that. Let's see, is there something else that let's take my next comment in relation to Carrie's comment here. The first number on Intel CPU model name is a generation. I know that. I have known that all along, but I fell for this because I know that I recognize that these days now from i3s, i5s, i7s, i9s, from probably generation 8, 9, 10. But this number 5, I have never, back in the days of generation 5, I was not conscious about generations numbers. I'm not a builder. That's just not been part of my vocabulary. I would buy computers based upon criteria, but we weren't really worried about generation numbers. Doesn't matter for the typical end user among my clients. But Windows 11, when I saw this, my mind, when I was looking at evaluating this computer, my mindset was the N95 or N100 laptop, whatever the prior one was. They always say generation, 12th generation or 12th gen or 9th gen or 10th gen, whatever their generation. They actually have a number and the abbreviation of the word gen or generation. And then the N95 or N100. That's what I was accustomed to with these inexpensive mini computers and laptops. So that's where my mind was at. I was looking for another laptop for her. I think I searched for, I don't know, N95, N100 laptops or something like that. But anyway, this one came up and it just totally missed my eyes. I don't think I even saw the i3. And even if I did, this 5, I don't even perceive that as a generation number. What? So no, I didn't get that at all. I do know the first number is a generation, but I don't recognize that. And the i3 8005U, and then also the U. I'm just, again, I'm not a CPU aficionado. I think that's laptop style CPU. Somebody will say that in chat. Would be 8th gen. Be sure to run the free PC Health Check app from Microsoft to verify Windows 11 compatibility in seconds. Secure boot and TPM are not the only Windows 11 prerequisites. Yes, and the CPU does not support special instruction sets. They will fail Windows 11 updates. I did download the health check. It was not on the computer already. It's a download from the store, so a little bit more than seconds. Once you have it all installed, then yeah, seconds. But yeah, it failed on TPM and it failed on CPU generation. Such a Doug. Repairing and I tell that story about my mistakes on this because I think any of you who have been involved with advising people or repairing computers, you've had times when you may just make a stupid, silly oversight mistake. And in this case, fortunately, it wasn't much effort or time down the drain at all. I did the unboxing on the show, so that was content. Then I did let it do Windows updates. That doesn't take any time on my part, and then did the health check. Now I'm going to return it. She did the return. It sent me an email that has the QR code. I'll be returning it at, what's that food store? Some food shop, grocery store, health foods type stuff, something like that. I don't remember the name right now. So let's see, I did finish the thing. I wanted to explain about the generation numbers. So done that. Thumbs up and heart. Great video, Goobatron2441 regarding the HP all-in-one that won't turn on. And Goobatron, I just want to let you know that I have live shows now that I wasn't having back then, or they were different sequence of shows. Anyway, currently 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, plus Saturday, so that makes 4, at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Myself and the chat room are available to help with any issues that you might have come up with Windows computers, or take your stories if you've got things that you found struggles with or successes with. I'd love to see you come around and hang out with us. So I'll give him a thumbs up and a heart after the show and give him a reply to this point in the video. Pineapple Road, we got more about his saga. When I was searching for recovery images, I only found community-made images. Now, he did try to get it through Samsung. It is not available there. And that's confirmed by everyone else on these forums. No, Samsung doesn't make it available. And on forum posts, I found people said that if you contact Samsung, they either won't help you at all or will require you to send the laptop in for it to be re-imaged. The drivers I used to create my own recovery image are ones that I had extracted from the OEM installation. So when he got the computer into his hands, and I've got a question mark about how that happened, he made a export of the drivers apparently, but did not make a backup image. Now he's going to explain why a little bit further in this, because it wasn't just off of his radar. When I injected the drivers, I injected all of them. Okay. And this was in relation to some specific comments that I had made. So he's telling me that he covered more of these bases than we previously thought. When I injected the drivers, I injected all of them. With boot.wim, I injected them into both index 1 and index 2. And with install.wim, as opposed to boot.wim, with install.wim, I injected them into index 1, Windows 11 Home, and index 3, which is Windows 11 Pro. Now, Pineapple Road, this is not his first rodeo. And with creating custom images, he's been doing this for longer than I think any of the rest of us, I suspect. Not his first rodeo, but Monday armchair quarterbacking, maybe there's some things could have done different. However, there's still more to this story. Install.wim index 2 is home single language, Windows Home single language. The laptop came with Windows 11 Home, but has a digital upgrade license for Pro. With the dead USB ports, I tried plugging in a... Yeah, I'll cover that a little bit. With the dead USB ports, I tried plugging a wired USB mouse into the only USB 2 port on the laptop, and the red light on the bottom of the mouse did not illuminate. Okay, wired mouse. That's one of the suggestions I had made. And it appeared as though it was not even detecting the USB drive with the installer image in that USB 2 port. So I had suggested using USB 2 ports. Been there, done that, he says, in different words. The laptop has 3 USB ports, 2 Type-C ports, which I think are USB 3, and one USB 2 type A port. Okay, got it. System imaging software such as Macrium Reflect doesn't work on that laptop. I disagree. Or any ARM64 based system last time I checked. I think you need to check again. We're going to go look at that in just a moment. But that's a day late and a dollar short. But this is why he didn't do a backup image with Macrium Reflect, because I think he does have that on hand, because he thought it doesn't work with ARM64. The model of laptop in question was discontinued. Big point here, because I had said that it's probably still under warranty. I assume they bought it new, intending to set it up. So I think there's a different backstory for this computer than what I assumed was likely. Wait a minute, is that Doug making another assumption, biting him in the butt? The model laptop in question was discontinued probably about a year ago, not all that long ago then, and it is Windows 11. And I will be trying my best to avoid ARM64-based systems in the foreseeable future. So they're not planning on ordering more. Something that now the reason why he made that comment, something you didn't see, is when I replied to his last comment, I added a couple other things. I said, if you're going to be doing more of these laptops, why not just order another one and recover what you need from there? Or even if it's a difficult situation, maybe buy one yourself out of your own pocket, get what you need off of it, and then return it. You know, maybe there's a political situation here where he doesn't want to admit to his supervisors or bosses that he's got this problem going on and wants to just kind of sweep it under the rug and clean it up. I don't know that that's the case. I'm not saying that that's what's happening here, but it's possible that this computer was purchased by somebody else in the company, and now it's no longer needed, and now he's just experimenting with it. We don't know the mission. Why is he doing that with this computer at all? If they don't plan to have more, I'm not sure why bother making a custom installation image, because that piece doesn't make sense to me. So maybe it's just experimenting. I don't know. But then let's go look at Macrium Reflect. So here's Macrium Reflect. And if I do Control F and search for ARM, comprehensive device support from traditional systems to the latest ARM-based devices, Reflect Home, that's a personal version, Reflect Home, so you don't have to get a higher version, has you covered with broad compatibility. Now it's possible I didn't look far enough, it's possible that the free version does not do ARM. I haven't looked deeply enough to find if you have to have the paid version. So that might be an issue there. But if this is just an experimental project in free time, maybe he's one of those rare technicians where the employer has enough staff in the IT department where you can actually be caught up on your work and then pursue some free or some interest projects. So we don't know the backstory. Why is he working on this at all? He's going to avoid them, only exception being Macs. Yeah, so that kind of raises the question, why do they have an ARM64 in place anyway? I see some comments coming in, and somebody asked me to, let's see, there was a read chat a little while ago. I think it was about an email. Martin Hogg, did you get my email okay? So I'm going to take that off screen because I don't recall. Oh, there. Okay. So now do a search for Martin in my email. Oh, from this morning. Oh, that came in while the power was out. So no, I had not seen that. Thank you. I'm going to go do a quick preview of this and be sure that he hasn't said, please don't show the audience this. Yeah, I don't see anything asking me not to show it. So I'm going to bring it up, and I haven't quite understood it yet. So we will understood it together. Understood it? Is that a word? Hi, Doug, and hope you are well. Yes, I am. Thank you so much. You will recall Really? You making that assumption? You will recall. All right, I'm on the spot. You will recall the case of the Acer laptop. There's a detective, private detective. The case of the Acer laptop running Windows 10, which would not boot, and showing the no, I have trouble with that word, no bootable device found. And when I installed a clean Windows 10. All right, come on. You got Doug. Settle down. You're so happy the power's on. You're not paying attention. You'll recall the case of an Acer laptop running Windows 10, which would not boot, and showing the no bootable device found, and when I installed a clean Windows 10. Well, it came back with the same fault. Oh, yes, I remember now. See, he was right. I do recall. Came back with the same fault. Checked BIOS date, time, and other settings which are correct. Went into command prompt and boot rec, and no operating system found. At this stage, I suspected the SSD and extracted it. Tested it. I'm picturing one of those heavy front loaders digging down to extract it. Suspected the SSD and extracted it, testing it on another PC where Windows Explorer could not detect the drive. But disk management showed the drive as having total unallocated space with no partitions. I have now fitted a new SSD, installed Windows 10, and copied across all files folders from a backup. I have a backup. Yay! Now returned to customer, fully working. Crystal Disk Smart shows good speeds. Don't think it will fail again. Well done. Awesome. Well done. Thank you so much for that update, Martin Hogg. Yeah. Let's do I need to do anything more with that right now? No, I don't think so. I want to come back here and see Pineapple Road. I know last time when I sent comments, I replied to him yesterday from a comment that he gave us a few episodes ago, and we hadn't heard back from him, gave him a timestamp. So I'm not certain that he's getting to watch all of my videos. So I am going to hold off on heart and thumb for him and give him a timestamp. I'm going to go over here and see if there's any held messages. No, there are not. And that was the last one here. And I am into overtime. Let's see, I need to go check over here and see if I had any emails flagged for today. No, do not. Good. Then we'll go take a last. Oh, I need to go set up a redirect because I didn't have the opportunity to do that this morning. We've got Carrie's Friday show with Mitch Morrison, and save that. And I want to get a look at that thumbnail bigger because you can't see thumbnails. I'm still in Edge. This is so weird. All of my Chrome bookmarks are available here. I must have allowed it to import them at some point. Oh, no, he's got a trailer. Now we get to the thumbnail. ProArt Build Creator Workstations Part 4 Final. This computer, no RGB, except I think something in there did have a little bit of light. Unleashing Creativity, Asus ProArt Ultimate Creator Workstation for stunning content and more. Few people in chat over there already. No, not a few people, one person. Okay, now. Ultra low voltage model of mobile CPU. Thank you for that, Rand. That should be easy to remember. Ultra. Whole Foods, that's right. That's where I'm returning this. I'll go back to my senses. Let's see. He meant the number after the i3. Yeah, that was between them. Every time Doug says mini computer, my head goes to, yeah. It goes to the old days with a deck. PDP 8, PDP 11. I couldn't have pulled up those model names. They were called mini computers. What? Because they didn't need a full room air conditioned. They just needed to be probably in a cool area. I don't know. I wasn't familiar with those computers. John Downey's 8th gen laptop is Windows compliant. Yeah, 8th gen is where it happens. I'm not sure that all 8th gen. Yeah, that was covered. I'll bet the first 2 digits following the word means the version. You don't need to timestamp me. Recovery brings up the Windows control panel recovery methods, not the Samsung recovery. Well, that is true, but if you're doing that on a Samsung computer, I would assume that would get you into it, because if you do recovery, well, type it right. No, when I did it on this laptop the other day, it did come up with a recovery app. Does this get into recovery media? Create recovery drive. Yeah, this is a Windows recovery, but on the laptop, recovery brought up an app that was on that computer. I purchased Precision from Dell, refurbished a few years ago. Is Gen 8 i7 still going strong? I'm going backwards in chat. Isn't that weird? My iPhone also, when I said her name the other day, I was trying to give many vocal commands and she just would not respond. Okay, so did you get my email? Then go down from there. Samsung Zoom support sounds to be the same support. Oh, as far as what they're not very helpful. Ran to winter mute. They also changed the I to Ultra. Go figure. Yeah, I'm not happy about that. Instead of i3, i7, i5, the things that I know, they're going to Ultra just because they got to change things. And I'm saying that at the same time when I'm changing my show. You must be using the UK edition, and US version 1 is home, 2 is home N, 3 is home single language. Is there even an ARM edition of Macrium Reflect? Looks to me like it's not a separate edition. Is it running in emulation mode? I don't know. Well, if you reboot the computer on the Macrium Reflect boot media, its own, it uses the Windows installation, or it uses, I think, also a Linux version. That'll image backup whatever's on the disk. It shouldn't matter. Well, it's an ARM CPU. There's the difference. It's the ARM CPU. So booting your boot media off of bootable. He might have tried his boot USB and was unable to boot it. Maybe there's some special twist that you have to do when you're creating your Macrium Reflect rescue media. I think they call it rescue media. Yeah, well, I just showed that. Wintermute's got a blog comment about it. Let's see if this mentions something about ARM. Oh, in the title, Macrium releases first native bare metal recovery solution for ARM-based devices. I think that's with version X, 10, Reflect X, the first solution to support Copilot Plus ARM devices with native bare metal restore and boot menu recovery options. So yeah, used to be no, now yes. There is no free Macrium Reflect X. Oh, is that it? There is no free X, as far as I know. Reflect started covering ARM with version X. Yeah, so it wasn't without merit that he said Macrim doesn't do it last time he checked. And completely could have been true last time he checked. Don't do it that way, Doug. Move your mouse up here, then come down. X is only yearly subscription, no more perpetual license, and no free version. I do have annual subscription for 5 licenses for myself. You will recall eventually. Oh, ARM-based laptops have been around for years. Microsoft failed attempt for Windows on ARM, I think they called it, with their service products years ago was a mess. Sounds like that SSD lost its partition table. Pronounce that right. The SSD was not retaining data. Yeah, heard that. No, do it this way. In the olden days, it fit into single 19-inch relay rack. It was very much a mini computer. Okay, 19-inch relay rack. How tall? How many units tall was it? That is referring to those mini computers that were mentioned earlier, the PDPs. Have you seen Dave's Garage channel? PDP systems he has restored. Samsung Recovery is a program for restoring your disk or backing up the current state of your disk to solve problems that occurred while using your PC. It requires a separate installation on the computer. Oh, Samsung Recovery. So would that probably be in the recovery partition? Is what I would suspect. Because I would suspect Samsung Recovery that comes on Samsung computers is probably not on the C drive, so that you could recover if your C drive gets totally borked. How far am I? Oh, I'm almost done. I was working with tube. Yeah, that's regarding Dave's Garage. Core memory loaded from paper tape. Can I say my first job? Can I call it a computer with the punch cards in a sorting machine? My first office job was in real estate, title insurance. We had file drawers of cabinets of cards associated with APN numbers. You take out cards associated with an APN number and run them through this sorting machine to find what documents are recorded against the property. All right, that's it. Let's get out of here. Hasta la vista. Oh, well, wow, look at that. My small Stream Deck, the buttons are all white. No labels whatsoever. That's because the power outage and restart sequences, sometimes that doesn't come up right. I think it has to do with my long USB cables too. So you can send a email to me with questions that myself in the chat room can respond to. And whoops, I got a client there. I'm calling. I gotta go. Goodbye. I can't do the outro. So just stop streaming. Goodbye.